Hello guys, good morning.
This meeting is being
Welcome
recorded.
to the session today. Hope you all are doing good. So if you remember what we've done yesterday is that I've told you what is a cloud storage and how to create a bucket and what are the things that we keep in mind while creating a bucket. So all of these things via console, right? So if I wanted to create a bucket via console, so these are the things that I have to keep in mind while creating a bucket. So cloud storage is, this is what is a cloud storage, guys. And we now know that the cloud storage is the fully managed service for storing any kind of a data. For storing the data, we need to create a bucket. A bucket is nothing but a container, and we're going to keep the objects inside it. And we have seen how to create a bucket from the console. Console, what is a console, guys? So if I have to say, okay, console is a web user interface, guys. Okay, with the help of the user clicks, you will be able to interact with each and every service. Now, let us understand, sir, I am not that much, with the help of the user interface, it's taking a lot of time to create a bucket or interacting with any of the services. So what I will do we have any cloud shell or do we have any command line interface where I can create a bucket or where I can try to interact with each and every service in the GCP with help of the commands? Yes. So that is where we have two more things are there. One is cloud shell and cloud editor. Okay, these are the two things, guys. Let us understand first cloud shell. Okay, what is a cloud shell, guys? So cloud shell, as I told you, cloud shell is a command line interface. Okay, what is this one? It is a command line interface. What do you mean by command line interface, guys? So in a command line interface, there is a difference between the web interface as well as command interface. It is also web command line interface. Web. So there is a user interface, there is a command line interface. With the help of the commands, we are going to try to interact with the each and every service in the GCP. So that is what is meant by command line interface. Command line interface. So cloud shell as well as cloud shell editor are the tools. Both are tools provided by the Google Cloud Platform itself. And here, what is the developer will do? Developers are going to use these tools and try to interact with the each and every service in the GCP. Either you can use console or the cloud shell or cloud shell editor to interact with the GCP services. The main advantage and the main requirement is we wanted to store some data. If I wanted to store some data in the cloud storage, I have to interact with that particular service, right? So how many ways I can interact with that service? I can able to interact with that service via console, and one more is cloud shell. What is a cloud shell? Cloud shell is a web command line interface. Okay. So what is the advantage is that, so while you are working with the cloud shell, automatic authentication will be there, right? So here also automatic authentication will be there. Then so you need not to provide a authentication manually. Automatic authentication will be there. That in one more thing. And it will be having a 5 GB disk storage. So if you wanted to store any of the data in the cloud shell, actually before that I wanted to mention, cloud shell is a Linux operating machine, guys. Linux operating machine or environment, you can say. So it is a Linux operating machine. It comes up with the Linux OS. So that if you want, it is a small machine. You can think of like your laptop. How whatever the thing you can try to do in your laptop, all of those things that you can be able to do in your Linux as well. So it is like this, no? In your laptop is a Windows operating system. It is a with the help of the user interface, you will be able to interact with the applications in your laptop. Likewise, if you go to the Ubuntu and Linux operating laptops, what you will do, sir? You will not be having any interface. Okay, the only thing is like editor will be there, shell will be there. You will try to interact with the each and every application from the shell itself. Likewise, Linux operating machine is a Cloud Shell is a Linux operating machine. We are going to use the commands here. So mostly people call it as a Linux commands to interact with the each and every service in the GCP. Okay, and this machine comes up with a 5 GB storage. If you wanted to store any amount of data over the Cloud Shell, you can able to store until 5 GB. It is a very small machine. Okay, and one more thing is that okay, and one more thing is that it comes up with the pre-built-in tools, sir. So there are plenty of built-in tools. For example, I mean, when we look at the language support, for example, client libraries. Okay, built-in library support. Okay, for example, if you wanted to interact via Java or R language or Python or SQL or whatever it is. So if you try to interact with the client libraries from the Cloud Shell, you can able to do that because Cloud Shell comes up with the built-in client library support. So it will be supporting plenty of such languages such as Java, R, Python, and SQL. Okay, so this is how it is having a support. Any questions, guys, on this one? Okay, so this is what is a Cloud Shell, guys. It's a web command line interface. Automatic authentication will be there. Linux operating machine. So hereby we are going to interact with the Cloud Shell via Linux commands, and it is also having a support to the client libraries. So if you, for example, if you wanted to run SQL jobs on the Cloud Shell, you can able to do that. If you wanted to run Python jobs, you will be able to do that. And because it has comes up with the built-in tools already, that means Python, Java, or all of those things are built in already. So you just have to use the proper packages or modules to interact with the Cloud Shell. That's it. So this is what is a Cloud Shell, guys. Okay, let me try to tell you where is a Cloud Shell and how to work with the Cloud Shell. Okay, so when you go to the Google Cloud Platform, on the top right corner, if you can see here, somewhere there's the option called here. So activate Cloud Shell option, right? So how you have a user interface, nothing but a console. How you have a console, you will also having a Cloud Shell on the same page. If you wanted to activate the Cloud Shell, click on this one. Okay, bottom there will be a one more tab, or the bottom tab is opened. So it is going to be providing you the Cloud Shell machine now. Okay. Now see here, a command line interface is activated and given it to for us. If you wanted to open this entire thing in one more page, you can able to open in one more page. You can able to close it here. So the Cloud Shell is opened in one more entire tab. As I told you, guys, as soon as you entered into the Google Cloud Platform, you select a project here, right? Likewise, if you wanted to interact with the Cloud Shell, the very first thing that you have to do is that you have to select a proper project, how you wanted to interact with it. So to do that, see here, to set your Cloud Platform project, to set your Cloud Platform project in this session, use gcloud config set project, right? So I'm going to use the same thing. Gcloud config set project. The project ID we have to paste it here. I have copied the project ID here. I'm pasting it here. Authenticate it, authorize it. It's you, the one you are using. So you just mention that automatically it will be setting up the project. Here, see, now Cloud Shell is connected to this particular project. So whatever the activity that you are trying to do will be connected to this project only. For example, if you are creating a bucket or storing a files on site inside a bucket or doing whatever the activity, all of those activities are connected to this project only. So that is what. So however you go to the console and select a project, here also in the Cloud Shell, the very first thing is that you may be having some 10 plus projects in your GCP. So you have to select a proper project which one you wanted to work with. Okay, so once that is selected properly, now, sir, I wanted to, the main purpose is that, sir, I got to know that the Cloud Shell is a command line interface, but why we are learning is that, sir, if I wanted to interact with the cloud storage, because we are learning the cloud storage, right? So if I wanted to interact with the cloud storage, we have a certain commands for that. Certain Linux commands are already available. We can use those commands to create a bucket. Okay, so once I create a bucket, I can upload a files also, right? So I will do that. I will show you where is that command. So this is it is there in my notebooks, guys. So hope you can see my notebook. So this is the image that I have got from one of the website. So you see here. So for example, copy this one. Post it somewhere here. Okay, so for creating a bucket, what is a command, sir? For creating a bucket, this is a command, sir. Okay, for creating a bucket, this is a command, gsutil. So if you can see clearly, all of the commands are starting with the gsutil. So that is the reason. So whenever you try to interact with the GCP, interact with the Google Cloud Storage via shell, there are certain commands are there. It is that these commands are different to the different services, guys. Now you are trying to use shell with GCS, right? Google Cloud Storage. So these are the commands for that. Okay, so there is a name for these commands also. If you can see here, all of these commands are starting with the gsutil. So that's the reason this is called as a gsutil commands. So this is one of the question in the AS exam. What is meant by gsutil commands? gsutil commands are used to interact with the Google Cloud Storage from the Cloud Shell. So that is what is a gsutil commands, because all the commands going to be starting with the gsutil. There is one more command list is also there, gcloud. I will tell you what is the gcloud later. Gcloud commands are also there. I will tell you the gcloud commands later. Okay, so gsutil, you have to understand Google Cloud Storage. Okay, that is one thing. Now if I wanted to create a user, if I wanted to create a bucket, I can use this command, okay, for creating a bucket. So for example, I will go to my Google Cloud Platform now. Okay, I will go to my Google Cloud Platform. I may be having a plenty of buckets, right? I will go to the cloud storage here. So I'm going to create a one bucket name, that is gsutil mb. MB is to create a bucket, guys. Make bucket. Okay, MB, M means make, B means bucket. The bucket name we have to mention here. The bucket nomenclature will follow like this, because if you can see here. So for example, when you look at this particular bucket, how you are going to call this bucket from some other platform? If you go to the config, this is how the bucket name is, proper name of the bucket. So this is the URL. So I'm going to use this same thing here as well. Okay, GSCS, and after that I will provide the bucket name. Okay, what is the bucket name that I wanted to give it? Sir, I wanted to give it, the bucket name is project. Okay, project hyphen BQ, not hyphen will not be there, only underscores BQ bucket 1. So this is a unique name, as I think that project BQ 1 2 1 2 3 4 1 2 1 2 1 2 3 4, guys. So I have given a some bucket name, that is, this is my bucket name. Okay, so I am assuming that this is my unique name. If it is unique, then the bucket will be created. If it is not unique, it's gonna be throwing an error. Okay, so how to create a bucket? gsutil mb gs. I have mentioned the bucket name here. Click on enter. See here, it is creating a bucket. So it is created. Okay, so you will be able to see here. You will be able to go to the back and you will be able to, if you refresh it, you will be able to see a bucket that which we have created. You see here, guys, bucket BQ. So this is a bucket that we have created, right? Just now, 8th June, 8:25. That means just 30 seconds or like 5 seconds before, 5-10 seconds before we have created this bucket. You see here, project BQ bucket 121234. This is a bucket that I have created. Okay. Sir, if I wanted to list out all the files inside, I wanted to list out all the bucket names in the Cloud Shell. Okay, if I wanted to list out all the bucket names in the Cloud Shell, do we have any command for that? Yes. Okay, for listing out all the files, all the bucket names, you can able to see here. This is a command gsutil ls for listing out all the command, all the buckets. Ls minus lh and the bucket name, listing out all the files inside the bucket. So two things. Let us do two of those things. Okay, I'm gonna say gsutil ls. Ls is to list out all the bucket names. See here, I have these many buckets inside that. Inside my cloud storage, you will be able to see the bucket which we have created just now is also here. Okay. No. I wanted to list out the files inside this bucket. Okay. I wanted to list out all the files inside the bucket. So command is gsutil ls minus lh. The bucket name we have to provide it. So you will be able to see, because you do not have any files inside the bucket, that's the reason it has shown. So for example, if you see for one other bucket, you will be able to see few files, because the bucket we have created just now, that's the reason it does not have any files. But if you can see here, this bucket, it will be having some files. See here, it is having some sales.records, department.txt, Python files, sample CSV file, Parquet files. Okay, plenty of the files are there already. So that is how you will be able to list out all the files inside a bucket, and you can list out all the buckets also. Two things. One is to list out the buckets. One more thing is to list out the files inside a bucket. Okay, so that is also clear. Okay, that is clear, sir. Sir, I wanted to upload a file. Sir, I wanted to upload a file. So let me clear the screen. Sir, what I wanted to do is that, sir, I wanted to, we will go and look at here. So I wanted to copy a file. Okay, I wanted to copy a file. First thing what I will do is that I wanted to copy a file from one bucket to another bucket. Okay, so I'm going to go here, see that in this particular bucket, I have plenty of the files. I have a CSV file, right? Sample CSV file. So that sample CSV file, I wanted to be moved from or copied to the one more bucket which I have created just now. Okay. So what I wanted to do, sir, I wanted to copy this particular sample CSV file from this bucket to the bucket which I have created just now. So first, what I will do, I will try to list out all the buckets. Okay. So I have a file sample CSV in this particular bucket. I wanted to move it to this particular bucket. Okay. For that one, gsutil copy, CP means copy, and the bucket path, the file path. Click on that particular file, copy the path of that file, go here and paste here. From here to where, guys? To this one, right? So I'm going to copy this one. I'm going to paste it here. Click enter. That's it. gsutil copy. The sample CSV file will be copied from this particular PP12345 bucket to the project BQ bucket 1121234 bucket. So if you wanted to see earlier, when I see it, it does not have the files, right? You will be able to see now ls minus ls. The bucket name is this one. You will be able to see one file just now because it is created. You see here, this bucket is having one file now. Okay, earlier we do not have any files. You can also come here and check it. Okay, so these are all the operations that we will be doing. Usually, whenever we wanted to interact with the cloud storage from the sample CSV file, just now it is copied. Okay, so this way we will be able to copy a file from the one bucket to the one more bucket and move a file from the one bucket to the one more bucket. Assume that I wanted to delete this file. Okay, I wanted to delete this file, copy the path of this file. So for deleting, the command is rm. So somewhere you will be able to see delete a file. You see here, guys, here it is. Okay, gsutil rm the bucket path. Okay, so sir, which file I wanted to delete it? I wanted to delete the sample.csv file. I wanted to delete it. Okay, sorry. Okay, so gsutil rm the bucket name. We are not deleting the bucket, sir. We are deleting this file inside this bucket. Sample CSV file, we are deleting it. Okay, removing it. RM is to remove, guys. Okay, so if I go here inside this bucket, this file should not be there. See, the file is not there. So this is how we can copy a file from one bucket to the another bucket. We can move a file from one bucket to the another bucket. We can create a bucket. We can create a bucket. We can load a file. We can delete a file, or we can delete a bucket also. So anything can be done, sir. Okay, anything can be done.
Sir.
Yeah, sorry.
Sir, is it possible by residing in bucket 1, I can copy the file from bucket 2 to bucket 3?
Of course.
Okay, how to issue the command for that?
So which one you wanted to do?
I am residing in bucket 1. Okay. Okay, I am inside the bucket
You don't
1.
be inside
I want
the
to
bucket
copy
1 in when you are working with the Cloud Shell. Okay.
Okay. Okay. I want to copy from bucket 2 to bucket 3.
You can copy anything. For example, from any of the bucket to any of the bucket, you can copy. Okay. Assume that you have a file here. Okay. You have a file here, this file. If you wanted to copy this to any of the bucket, just copy this one. Just mention gsutil cp. This is a source file. Okay. This is a source path.
Okay.
And 2, you wanted to copy to which bucket, you have to select it. Okay, which bucket you wanted to copy, you should know it. So for example, I wanted to copy it to this bucket. Okay, so just mention, do you wanted to create a folder also? Okay, just copy the path of it. Sir, while doing it, you can also create a folder also. Sir, I wanted to create a folder landing. Okay, I wanted to create L1. Okay, so land. So inside that I wanted to go. Okay, so what I'm doing it, gsutil copy from particular this bucket. The file will be copied. Assignment.py will be copied to this bucket. Inside the bucket, I have a folder called a landing. So slash is means to folder, sir. This is a folder. Inside that I have a one more folder. Inside that you can create any number of folders. So I want it to be loaded to that particular bucket. Okay. Now if I go to this particular bucket, data sources own, you will be able to see landing bucket. You see here, there's a landing folder. Inside that you will be able to see one more land folder. Inside that you will be having a assignment.py. So this is how you will be having it. Anything can be done, sir. Whatever the activity that you wanted to do, it can be done. Okay.
Sir, one more
Okay,
question.
if the folder is already exists, it will copy to the existing file, no?
Guys, 2 questions. People are asking 2 questions. So one at a time. So the folder, sorry.
Yeah, 1 second, sir. The
Already
folders
existing
right now
folders are
it's
already
created.
it will copy.
Guys, sorry. There are 2 classes are happening at the same time. So that's the reason I can't hear it properly. So one guy was already started asking, right? Can you ask the question?
Yes, sir.
Already folder is there, sir. Landing folder is there.
The landing folder is there. Okay.
So if I issue the same command, it will copy it or.
You can issue the same command. Okay. You can issue the same command. If it is already there, it will not be doing that one more time. You will be able to see it here. It is already there.
Okay.
Yeah. It will not be creating it. Even though if you try to do it, it will not be created. Yeah. So yeah, one more guy was asking a question. Yes.
Yeah, the same question, sir. Like if it is not there, it will create. Otherwise, it will go into the same path.
Correct. Correct.
Yeah, thank you, sir. One more question regarding buckets. While creating the bucket, we have other attributes, right? Like regions and all. How can we issue, or it will take a default while creating from
No.
the?
We can issue that as well. We can issue.
Okay.
So, for example, sir, I wanted to create a bucket, GS util, MB is to create a bucket. The bucket name I will give it, right?
Yes.
So I will give some random name. After that, so you will mention hyphen. You can mention reason. Okay. You provide the reason name. Hyphen storage class.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can mention this thing.
Okay. If I am not giving anything, it will take the default one,
By
right?
default, the region is multi-region will be taken. By default, storage class is standard. It will be taken. Yes. Yeah. Retention policy is also hyphen retention policy. You can mention one by one. You can mention. Yes.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Got it.
Any other questions, guys?
How to copy a file from one of the VM to these buckets?
You should have access. We should have access to the virtual machine, guys. First thing. So you can copy any file from any to the this thing. So usually that kind of activity we will be doing via code. That can be from, for example, because it is more of a loading a data from one virtual machine, nothing but a one on-premises machine to the cloud, right? Google Cloud Storage. So that is more of a data migration. So that can be done anyways. Here also we can do it, but the only thing is that that virtual machine should be able to accessible from my account. Okay, that thing I will show you with plenty of other steps. Like, for example, that machine is having some data. I wanted to load the data from that machine to my bucket. I will tell you in a different ways. But doing from the cloud storage is not a best thing, because cloud storage is only a small machine. Okay, it wouldn't be having that much RAM and all. But when you go with some other process like data proc, data flow, moving the data processing systems, whenever you use it, no, it will be very fast. I will tell you that thing. Okay, but if you wanted to load any of the files from any of the virtual machine, you can also do that. If you wanted to, if we have a virtual machine readily available, I will tell you. Okay, so maybe tomorrow I will show you guys.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Sir, another question. If the file is locked or it was not subjected to modification, whether that file would be copied?
Sorry.
The files which was subjected to already locked or not modified.
Yeah, it will throw an error.
It was not subjected to modify.
Moving is fine, but modifying is not possible. Okay, moving also not possible. Only copying is possible. Okay.
Okay. So we can copy the locked files or
copying is fine. Yes, I'm telling you, moving is something. What is mean by moving? So
completely
correct, right? So for example, I'll do this activity. I will do it and I will show you. So for example, when I do such a thing of instead of copy, if I mention move, so what will happen now? This file assignment.py will not be available. It will be deleted here and copied to this one. So two actions are done. So if this particular file has a retention policy of deleting it, this particular command will be failed. But now it will be succeed because we do not have any such things. So if I go to this bucket test 01023, you will not be having that file. Okay, let me show you. So if I go here, assignment will not be there. See, assignment is not there because it is moved from this bucket to that bucket. Means it will be copied to that bucket and it will be deleted here. So deleting action or modification of a file will not be happening as when it is a retention period. Okay. Yeah.
But it can be copied.
Sorry. Yeah, it can be copied.
But it can.
Copied can be.
Okay.
Any other things, guys? Okay. So over and all, from Monday onwards, what I will do, I will provide access to my notes, guys. So here it will be having all the information. So if you wanted to look at it, so what is a GCS? All the information is here, and a bucket, how to create it, and what is meant by uniform, standard, all of those things. And there are 2 costs associated, as I told you. And one more thing is that web interface, command line tool, and we have a cloud shell, and these are the commands. I will provide you that. I have mentioned here as well. You see here, GSUtil MB, the project name I mentioned, the storage class is nearline, the L is location is nothing but a multi-region, and the bucket name is this one. So you can mention plenty of the things while you are creating a bucket. Okay.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure, sir. Got it.
Okay. So yeah, any other questions, guys? Okay. So I wanted to show you one more thing, that is Cloud Shell editor. So this is Cloud Shell. This is more of a terminal. People call it as a terminal. Okay.
Sir, if I sorry to interrupt. If I want to store if I'm exiting more than 5 MB, 5 GB, so what is the next step?
So the Cloud Shell itself, it is provided for you to interaction, not for storage. Okay. You don't do any of the storage over the Cloud Shell. But moving a file, for example, assume that I have a virtual machine or I have a local machine, my local machine. From the local machine, I have a file which is even the 10 GB. I wanted to move it from this to local machine to GCS. That is possible via Cloud Shell. That is possible because you are not storing the data on the Cloud Shell. You are just moving the data from the Cloud Shell. Via Cloud Shell, you are trying to do it. But when you want to store this 10 GB over the Cloud Shell itself, it's not possible because Cloud Shell does not having that much storage. Okay, migration is possible. Okay, I will show you guys maybe tomorrow or day after tomorrow. Whenever I create some virtual machine, it's easy. We need not to worry about it. You just have to move. If you wanted to move a file from one virtual machine to the one more cloud storage, or one virtual machine to the one more virtual machine, that is also possible. The only thing is access issues will be there. That I will show you once I will create a virtual machine. And for now, back to the session, I want you to understand the Cloud Shell editor as well. Okay, what is this Cloud Shell editor? Is that, sir, Cloud Shell is a terminal where you will be having shell kind of environment where you will be issuing the commands here, there, right? So what about the Cloud Shell editor is that, sir, I have a I wanted to create a Python code. So do we have an editor available? So code editor, if you wanted to have a code editor, Python, Java, SQL, all of those things, if you wanted to have a code editor, so that's where the Cloud Shell code editor will be there. It is you can call it as an IDE. Okay, Cloud Shell editor provides a browser-based code editor. It is a browser-based code editor. How we have VS Code, how we have Git, all of those things, right? So all of this is also the same way. Okay, so it is integrated with the Cloud Shell. Let me show you. Okay, you will be able to see here, right? Cloud Shell, this is a terminal. You see here, one more is editor. Click on the editor. Editor will be open. So this is your Cloud Shell editor. I'll go to this particular home. So this is a browser editor, guys, code editor. So here you will be able to write any of the codes here. Let us wait for some time. The code editor will open. See here. So I can able to write any of the codes here, something like, so for example, I wanted to, for example, I wanted to add a code here. Okay, I can write a code here. Okay, this way we will be able to. It is a code editor, how you have a VS Code and all of those things, right? So this is exactly similar to that. Okay, guys. So hope you got the point, right? Any questions? It's just a code editor. Yeah.
Sir,
So here I have
Sir,
we
so
have
how
a
to get
terminal
into
right at
this?
the top right. So this is your terminal. Click on this editor. It will be opening. Okay, so that is what. Even though here also you can able to click on this one, and the first shell will be opened, and after that you can open. Here it is open editor option is there, right? You can click on open editor, or editor will be open. So you'll be able to open from here as well. Okay.
Sir, by using this script only we are doing in
I mean,
Java.
you can use this thing or you can use any of such things as well. This is just a editor. If you wanted to edit any of the code, you will be able to edit it. Usually they will be having a code repositories will be there, Cloud Run and all of those things they will be maintaining with the help of the Git command, Git repos. So this is for you. If you have some code readily available, sir, I wanted to execute the code from the Cloud Shell, but I just wanted to do a minor changes here. Usually I'll be using that purpose. Okay. What I will do, I will go to my VS Code.
Yeah, sir.
Okay. So I'll be, yeah.
Sir, it will defaultly support Python, sir, or any other.
It supports all the languages.
Okay, if I want to open in Java means Java editor.
You can need not to open any editor. It's not a Java. It's not a anything. You just write a. You just create a one more file and write like this. This is a code.java, right? The Java code will be opened. Okay. Just according to the file, it will be opening that. See here, it is a Java file.
Oh, okay.
How you have in the editor, right? We already know how the editor works, right? So this is my Python file. If I wanted to open the Java file, I will click here. This is a VS Code, guys. Code.java. Okay, that is how I will do. Okay, so this is how it works, guys. Any questions?
Okay.
Okay, so just Java or whatever it is, or the Python. Usually we don't write at the bigger codes here, but whenever we wanted to write a small changes on the codes, we will be using the code editor. Okay.
So how to execute this, sir?
If you wanted to execute it, you can directly execute it from here. Or it's open here, right? Okay. So you go to the terminal. So for example, you have a LS. Inside LS, you have some code right here. See, this is a code. This is a Python file, right? So Python 3 and the code name MySQL. Just when you click on enter, it will be automatically executed. Python 3 is what I would say package that was pre-built in the Cloud Shell already.
Okay. For Java, sir?
Java also you'll be having Java. Okay, guys. Okay. Yeah. This is it for today, guys. So hope you got some idea about how we can create a bucket from the Cloud Shell, how we can load the files, how we can move a file from one bucket to the another bucket, how we can delete it, how we can list out all the buckets, list out all the files inside a bucket. So that is what the agenda today. So that is completed, and I want you to introduce a Cloud Shell editor as well. That is also I have told you. So far that is good. So this is it for today. I want you to understand that so far the demo classes are completed for now. So from tomorrow, I think maybe tomorrow. Oh yeah, from tomorrow onward. Tomorrow also we have a class. Tomorrow is a Friday. But I only for those people who are started registering for the course. So start doing the registrations for the course, guys. From tomorrow onwards, we will be having a regular classes, and the link will also be changed, I believe. Okay.
Yeah, okay, sir. Sir, one thing, sir. In networking, which topics you will cover, sir?
Networking, mostly we will be just covering the basics, guys. I'm not covering the networking here. So I believe basics also we don't cover because it is more of a data engineering. Okay. So we will be focusing on Python plus SQL and the languages, and data engineering tools for movement of the data, ETL pipelines, data pipelines, DAGs, all of those things we are going to create it. Okay, we by using
Network related thing we are not covering.
yes.
Whether we want to know sir, Python before, sir?
No,
Before
not
we-
required, guys. Only SQL if you know, that is fine.
Sir, I have basic networking experience, sir, 1 year experience. I'm planning to go with 3 years GCP and Terraform, sir. Like how to, like what I have to learn, sir.
So I think this course will give you almost 70% of the topics, guys. But other 30% you have to focus on some basics of the networking in the GCP. So I will try to provide you some material on that one if you are ready to join the course. 70% of the topics I will be covering anyway, but rest of the 30% you have to learn it from my material.
Yeah, after learning this course, like for which position I can apply?
You can apply for data engineering position. You can apply for cloud engineering position. So cloud engineer, you can go for the data engineer. So I wanted to go in a networking engineer. You can also go for that one, but you have to learn those concepts as well.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Sir, I want to pursue, I want to get a certificate of PCA, Professional Cloud Architect.
This will help you.
So how much this course will be helpful
This
for
course will be help you almost 80, more than 80% it will help you.
me? Okay. Additionally, what I have to
Additionally,
learn
you
for
have to
PCA?
focus on App Engine, Kubernetes Engine. 2 things. Those are the DevOps related.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, guys. Any questions? Okay.
No, sir. We are good.
Yeah. Okay,
you,
guys. Thank you all. Do your registrations without any problem because the link will be changing. Thank you for your time. Have a great day, guys. Thank you all.
Thank you, sir.